Education is driven by the language people speak. English, one of the most widely spoken languages in the world, dominates almost every new concept, and tech concepts are no exception. Despite the vast number of English speakers, there are still many people in various countries who do not speak it. What then happens as technology advances and new concepts emerge, some of which are alien to the grammatical structures of their languages? In this episode, I sit with Wuraola Oyewusi, a data scientist and tech instructor whose love for teaching has inspired her to explain tech concepts in her native tongue, Yoruba. As a result, many speakers of this language have learned about ChatGPT, AI, and much more. Enjoy today's episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tech Surf podcast, where we navigate today's tech wave one electrifying conversation at a time. I am your host, Raymond Klutse, and today we have a brilliant lady in the tech space, Her Majesty Wuraola, who is coming to take us through her very interesting journey into tech from a very interesting background and the amazing things she's doing in the tech space, which I find very unconventional if you ask me. But yes, we do have Ruraula with us today to the Texas podcast. So thank you so much for making time to join the Texas podcast today.
Hi, hello everyone. Hi, Raymond.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so just to, break the ice a little bit, we want you in the shortest amount of time to introduce yourself. So who you are, what you do, a bit of a brief background, and then we can get into the details of today's conversation.
My name is Wuraola Oyewusi. I'm a data scientist and I work in AI research. And I'm also a technical instructor. And what's interesting again that people like to know, my background is in healthcare. So I studied to be a pharmacist in my first degree. Uh, is that enough introduction, Raymond?
That
Or I'm
is a
supposed to
perfect
talk
one,
more?
and I'd like to drill down on that. So, pharmacists now turn data scientists. Like, I'm wondering, you left the world of making drugs to now come and mix data to create models. Walk me through what led you to read pharmacy in school in the first place.
Oh, well, I've answered this question many times, but now I have to answer it again. So
Yeah.
there are two stories. There's the one, so we had this career calendar at home. My mom believes everybody kind of chose their profession for there. But then there was one where I told my dad, so initially it felt like maybe I was gonna study medicine,
Mm,
and then I thought it was too long to spend that time in school, and then my dad said, okay, there is an ophthalmologist, okay, and then he said that's medicine, and then you specialize. I said, oh, that's too long. And then I think there was a time I said I was going to study petroleum engineering. I should mention that I'm Nigerian. I only moved to the UK 2 years ago. Yeah. So I'm Nigerian. I grew up in Nigeria. So there was the oil boom season, and it seemed that it makes sense to study petroleum engineering.
to get some
And
cha-ching.
yeah, but then one day my dad mentioned pharmacy, and then I thought it made sense. I thought it made sense, and then so that's how I went to pharmacy
Mm,
school.
that's great. So, did you practice as a pharmacist after school?
Oh yes, I did. I'm 32, so I
You
graduated from
don't look a
pharmacy
day
school.
older. You look very young. I wouldn't have even imagined.
Oh, I'm 32.
Oh,
I
wow.
yeah, I
Okay.
don't. So that means I kind of I graduated from pharmacy school a while ago. I
Mm,
graduated 9 years ago,
wow.
and that's even after we had this strike actions in Nigeria. But I graduated 9 years ago, so I always like to lay the foundation that it's not like I hated pharmacy. I had a good time being a pharmacist. I'm not supposed to self judge, but I was a good pharmacist. But when we were in pharmacy school, we had a course related to supply chain.
Mm,
It was interesting to have another perspective of how people were diversifying out of pharmacy. So I've
mm,
always been kind of okay. I said, "Oh, this is interesting." And when I graduated, I used to read a lot of job descriptions.
Mm, mm.
I know it's weird to some people, but I used to study job descriptions. And then one
Wow.
day I saw something related to data analyst, and I felt I could do everything on the list except the content side, which was SQL, Python.
Right,
I just thought this looks interesting, and
right.
so I enrolled on an online course about SQL, and then I found out about this whole world of data science, people finding patterns, AI, and things like that. And I just kind of dove in a lot of. I always said the truth about the time it took me to manage that transition because it's a common question that
Mm,
people have.
mm,
It's a lot of time
mm.
and a bit of obsessive studying.
I I actually like how plain you've made it because I was talking with someone today and he's talking about getting into data analysis, and I told him that it's not going to be a straightforward route. If you think you're going to go on YouTube and someone tells you I can make you a data scientist in 3 months, it's a lie. You will learn some data science skills or some data analysis skills, but to become a data analyst in 3 months, it's not realistic unless you are stopping everything you're doing in your life and then just doing that the whole day. And even for that, experience comes with time. You can bridge that gap or you can shorten the period. But yeah, I think is
Exactly.
that
And
reality.
I say this often in podcasts and things
Mm,
like that. I know that many times people pretend as if they're not trying to improve their earning potential.
mm,
But I'm going to say that any legal thing that you can do that can change how you earn, that can bring flexibility into your life, it makes sense for you to give it a shot.
mm,
So there's no shame in you trying to get into tech
mm.
if that's what you think.
Will make your life better.
Just to clear the table, just to clear the background,
Right.
because people could say, oh, this is passion,
Mm,
but I understand that people are, traveling to new countries, people are migrating, some people are bored at what they do, some people just want to do better, some people, and so I'm saying it up front that it makes sense for you to be fighting for your life to earn better.
mm, mm,
It's just now the question of what are you putting in, how fast do you want
mm,
that,
mm.
and how great are you at these things that you're exploring.
Mm. Oh wow, it's not even deeper into the conversation, and I'm getting very good coaching from the one and only Wuraola. Okay, so I know you online as a data scientist and everything. Then I saw you on LinkedIn learning, teaching. But even before that, I'd seen snippets of your videos of you teaching data science concepts in Yoruba, and I was like, this is very rare. Like, how does one get to that point of wanting to teach things in their local dialect? And I want us to backtrack. Do you think that it all stems from you just being appreciative of your culture, or you had a scenario where you someone was deprived of going to some kind of or was deprived of some opportunity because they did not have very good mastery of the English language?
Oh well, that's an interesting question, but again, and I understand that it's an entire series that I've taught. I have maybe about 40 videos
Mm,
covering different concepts. So I know that if I want to I can make an entire story out of it. But at the baseline of it, I speak Yoruba. So it was mostly me just goofing. It was
mm,
me sharing perspective from things that I understand.
mm,
I speak Yoruba very well,
mm,
and then so it's not like I understand that I can make a story about these people were deprived,
mm,
and then
mm.
and then I'm here to like save
Save the
them. It's
world.
not, yeah, it's not from the perspective of I'm here to like save them. It's from the perspective of I can do this. It's mostly just because I can.
Mm,
I have a good understanding of both concepts. There
mm,
are things that I do AI, I do data science, and it was fun to share. I should mention that when I made the first video, I remember I didn't even add subtitles. I knew people were gonna watch, but I didn't. I couldn't gauge the extent that people decided to watch it
mm,
because yeah, because it simply just went everywhere. And I knew that when I put the first video maybe on LinkedIn, some people didn't feel it belonged there. They felt like they should go to somewhere like Facebook
or Twitter.
because Oh, oh well, it's active on Twitter too. A lot of
Okay,
people watch on
right,
LinkedIn and
right.
on Twitter, and so some people didn't think that people on LinkedIn will be interested in learning all about tech concepts in Yoruba language,
Mm,
but that wasn't what happened. Because and then you should know that non-Nigerians people are watching for the tech, because I'm a technical instructor in my
right,
normal life.
right.
I teach data science and AI at my job. I like as you know, so I teach already. So it's interesting to see the convenience of all the people that decided to watch all over the
Mm,
world,
mm,
and they are not just Yoruba. So it's not from we want to save the world, but I have a thinking that could that influence how I teach.
mm,
I don't think knowledge should be mystified.
mm,
Like it can be difficult. It may take you a while to get into it. You know, for example, we talked about people trying to transition career or trying to figure out what they would do,
mm,
but it's not out of their reach. You
mm,
know, by the virtue that oh, this is AI, it's difficult.
mm,
So, one of the most interesting things about how people learn is that you wouldn't think maybe someone that is not academic have interest in some of those AI concepts. That's a
mm,
lie. Curiosity transcends language.
mm.
You know, curiosity transcends
Right,
language.
right.
It's transcend, yeah. So yeah, so it was just something that I gave a shot, and then people happen to watch.
And there you are today, Wuraola, our technical instructor in Yoruba. So teaching, pharmacy, you just learned how to, use chemistry to make drugs. Data science, you learned data science concept. Technical instructing, did you have to go to school to learn that skill? Or would you say it's just a natural talent? You just know how to teach. Where did that all come from?
Oh well, when I started transitioning careers, one of the things that I started doing early was to write. And the reason I used to write was I've said it a lot. I'm going to say it again. Tech is generous.
Mm,
It's generous in the sense that if I was trying to, because I started learning all about tech from scratch, you know, if there was going to be a study, maybe they should have taken a baseline then, because it's not like I was working with computers.
mm,
I had to learn my linear algebra from scratch. I
mm,
had to learn my machine learning algorithms from scratch. I
right.
didn't. That wasn't what we did in school. So, but I found a lot of things helpful and free online. Yeah, I am still a master of trying to find free resources and following through with them,
Mm,
because I have a thing for practice. I
mm,
practice deliberately and I follow through. I don't take those things. So I started writing technical articles because I felt like all these people that I don't know, they put this stuff online.
mm,
It makes sense when I start to understand this to share from my perspective.
mm,
And I was comfortable with people not reading. And then people read. I've written
mm,
articles that I wrote 5 years ago that people still read. And then
mm,
it's like, oh, this is nice. This
mm,
answered their questions.
mm,
You know. So that was so I've been writing technical articles for a long time.
mm,
You know, for a long time. If you check my Medium, I have articles five
mm,
years, maybe 6 years. So yeah, so teaching, yeah, so teaching is mostly uh, making it easier for people to follow through, because it's always a journey. The Tech in Yoruba videos take quite a lot of time, even if
mm,
they are short,
right,
because you're trying to, there's a short attention span, and you want to, people don't have a long attention span,
right.
and then you're trying to mention all these new concepts,
Mm,
so you want to tie it back to something they can relate to, something they can yeah, so I'm gonna say if people take a lot of my courses, so
mm,
I'm gonna say at least I'm a decent teacher.
yeah.
But being a decent teacher is just you know, scale it. You know, you want to take people on a credible journey.
Mm,
So 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 it's mostly I've participated in great teaching,
mm,
so great learning. So it makes sense for me to deliver great teaching.
mm.
hopefully
Mm.
my students consider them great. I get great reviews.
Right, that's amazing. That's amazing. So whenever someone hears, things like this, people have the tendency to think that, oh, once she has done it, I can do it too. And I believe everyone can do something. Maybe someone can choose to, because we've had teaching in French, we've had teaching in Spanish, teaching in different languages, right? Why can't we also have teaching in a language that is not necessarily international? But then I know that will come with a lot of challenges, especially knowing the limitation in resources, a lot of things, and also the likelihood of maybe people falling out of the language. What major challenges have you faced in choosing to teach in Yoruba since you started?
Oh, well, it's gonna start from my perspective. For example, for me, Yoruba is one of the languages that I speak. So, like I said, so it's not. I don't consider it as, oh, I'm solving this big problem in the world.
Mm,
I understand that it has solved many people's problem. Quite a
mm,
number of people have said if you can explain it this simply in the language you understand, then I want to give it a shot, which is a
mm.
nice thing, but it's just putting things out there. For example, I don't know if you speak any other language apart from English,
Yes,
do
I
you?
speak French. I speak my local dialect Ewe, Chi, a bit of Ga, and a
Yeah,
bit of
you can.
Spanish.
Yeah, you can as well, for all the technical things, you can as well teach in those languages. For
Mm,
example, if people really want to scale those things, it's not really, it's professionals.
mm,
You can decide to, like, you can predict if people are going to participate, because every time I put something out, it's okay if people watch, but I'm also comfortable if people don't watch.
mm,
There's usually that baseline for me. It's really nice when people watch, when
mm,
they participate, but if you put something in the world, just put it.
mm, mm,
Just put it. So, for example, if anybody is gonna teach maybe data or anything related to
mm,
data in all those
mm,
languages that you listed, you're a good
mm,
candidate.
mm.
Just the same way you're hosting
Right,
this
right,
podcast,
right.
so you some of the best candidates, because one of the things that having content and tech in your language that is not English or French is that it also preserves the language. That's how languages evolve. Languages that are
Mm,
not spoken online, that people are not engaging with, languages that we're not creating new words for, because that's an interesting part of what I do.
mm,
Because coming up with words related to AI in Yoruba, it's not like, oh, there's this big dictionary.
mm,
It's just because I know how those things work in AI, and then I can give the closest definition. I
mm,
can give the closest context, and that's how new words evolves. That's how your languages stay
mm,
alive. It's not like I sat down again. I can claim that I did, but I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm trying to preserve Yoruba language.
mm,
It's a story that sells better
mm,
because it's happening. It's happening. There are new words. There are these algorithms describing exactly what they do in Yoruba.
mm,
So it's a labor of love. It's a labor of love, but it's pretty nice to be able to do that.
mm,
So if somebody is going to teach data in all the languages you listed, you're a good candidate, much more
mm,
than a translator, because teaching technical concepts goes beyond translation. There are
mm,
people who probably speak better Yoruba than me, but they don't work with AI algorithms. They don't know
mm,
what's going to happen when you place it like that. And another good thing about Yoruba, it's quite descriptive. So you can describe concept by
mm,
exactly what is happening. And that's what I attempt to do. That's what I actually do,
mm,
which takes a lot of
mm.
mental energy,
I can
but it's
imagine.
pretty nice.
I can imagine. So, are there others doing something similar to what you're doing? Maybe same Yoruba, or in other countries that you know of, people who are also teaching technical concepts in their local dialects that you know of in on social media or you've met before.
Oh, well, I wouldn't know of tech. I do know science. So interestingly, so there's science in Yoruba where the team that runs that, they share about scientific concepts in Yoruba
Mm,
language. So interestingly, I have not seen them before I started, but
mm,
then I saw. So there's a team that shares maybe things like, oh, this is the science of how there's rainfall. This is the
mm,
science of this particular disaster. Then I know someone else that talks about maybe things like wildlife
Mm,
in Yoruba too.
mm,
Yes. But initially before I started, but the team teaching science in Yoruba, they had started quite a while before me. I just
mm,
never come across their work.
mm,
So there's that. And then oh well, this is not called teaching of tech in Yoruba, but we have like an African NLP, natural language processing AI
mm,
community. So there are communities focused on application of AI to different
mm,
languages that include Yoruba too,
mm,
that are Africa focused.
mm. All right. Okay. So you said your current your main work is to be an instructor. Is it full time LinkedIn instructor, or you are doing that on the side? You are working with a particular organization. You teach in a university or school. Where are you being a technical instructor apart from online?
Well, with LinkedIn, it's a contract role. Instructors are usually contractors, except so it's with LinkedIn, it's publishing. So LinkedIn is like a publishing company,
Mm,
and then there are instructors like me.
right.
But if currently I started school, so I'm in school for a PhD in
Mm,
cancer sciences,
mm,
where I'll be applying natural language processing to clinical text. So
mm,
mostly AI for clinical text.
mm.
So that's what I do in my day job. So in my day job right now, I'm a researcher.
Mm, that's amazing. So it looks like the health space is not letting go of Wuraola. We have Wuraola to help save the world because you came from pharmacy, went to double everything to data science, and you're back into cancer research. That and I think that is the beauty of having the freedom to bounce from wherever you want to go, but still have your vision and your skills. On lockdown. That is very impressive. And congratulations. I
Thank
know
you.
that I would like to do a PhD. I'm not too sure when, but we'll
This is
see.
application season. It's
Well,
time to apply.
I will consider it because when I think about PhD, like honestly, when I think about PhD, the efforts to just be digging down a particular subject. I haven't found a particular area that I'm intrigued by at the moment. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
It's like a job. What you need to figure out is if it's funded. You really shouldn't do a PhD that isn't funded.
right, right.
But if you start checking recruitment,
Right, right,
you
right.
you
You
see a
eventually
topic
find, yeah, you find something. So it's all
because
about.
I specifically chose this topic
Mm,
because it aligns with some of the things that I've been up to, and I
mm,
like the
mm,
so it made sense,
mm,
and because I've worked in AI research, before I left Nigeria.
mm,
So in my previous role at Imperial College was in research
mm,
to
mm,
NLP and
mm,
clinical tech.
mm.
So it makes sense for me to give school a shot.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. So how many more years? Like how many years in school?
Oh,
Three.
I just started. It's
Oh,
a 4-year program. I'm
ooh.
in PhD 100 level. I'm a
Ah,
newbie.
nice, nice, nice. First year. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you. Get to the highest of heights and all. I wanted to talk about vocabulary. I know you mentioned that because Yoruba is a very expressive language, you naturally use a lot of the words that already exist in the language to describe AI concepts. And then you mentioned creating new words. Do you think you stand at like you have the power to be able to champion the creation of new AI concepts for the Yoruba language? You and other people who are doing something similar.
Oh, well, I'm a native speaker. I am a native speaker. If I will speak very African, I'm a daughter of the soil. So
Right.
this is not so if I'm sharing something in Yoruba language, I'm not looking for permission.
Mm,
I was born and raised Yoruba,
mm,
so so that's not. I understand that there may be linguists and things like that,
mm,
but I was born,
mm,
so it's not. So that's not like I said. Because the privilege that I have as an expert in both of those concepts and the things that I teach is that I'm able to deliver it to the people who need it.
mm,
For example, if I'm sharing about, oh, this is how recommender systems work, I could just say, oh, we need a word for recommender system, but that's not what people need.
mm,
What people need is that how is recommender system already powering their lives, their Facebook friends.
mm,
It's one of the closest things to them. Why is this suggesting this type of news for me on
mm,
YouTube?
mm,
That's what people need because the I have written, I've talked about it before. It's I understand the thing about, oh, we are not there, but you know, I understand the thing about, oh, they are doing this thing, they don't include Africa, they didn't include Yoruba. But to
mm,
be fair, it's not people who don't even speak this language that will do this curation for us. So I'm
mm,
one of the best people in the world to deliver that type of
mm,
work, and
mm,
I'm glad that I'm doing it. And about language validity and things like that. Like I said, I'm African, true and
mm,
true. I'm a
mm,
Yoruba girl,
mm, mm,
uh, so I'm sharing both from. So when I come up with words, when I describe concepts, I'm describing because I actually know how those things work.
mm,
I do them in my day work,
mm,
and so it's not first the job of a translator. A translator wouldn't know that, even if
mm,
the translator speaks
mm,
better Yoruba than me.
mm, mm,
Because if I describe the workings of an AI algorithm, I'm not describing it out of, oh, let me just translate this word. I'm sharing it as a professional. This is what happens.
mm,
This is exactly what happens when we are
mm,
deploying this. This
mm,
is why it scatters
mm,
this way. This is why it does this.
mm,
So I'm not asking for permission
mm,
to describe those words.
mm. Nice, amazing. I'm sure Nigeria is a huge country, and not everyone may get the chance to be educated to the full capacity that we have now, getting to PhD and working abroad and all that. Do you think there is potential for your project to start tapping into a small market of uneducated people in Nigeria who speak the Yoruba language, who could potentially become professionals without necessarily going to school?
Oh well, like I said, I have a very interesting audience. Let me give you what the segment is like. So there are people who are maybe elites in quotes who speak English, but they
Mm,
watch my content. They are
mm,
not AI. They are not AI experts, and it's just easier for them to learn those concepts
all right.
listening to Yoruba
Mm,
language. There are those people. So that means they understand Yoruba.
mm,
There are people who don't speak a lick of Yoruba, foreigners who are
mm,
trying to get better at their language in Yoruba. They
mm,
watch it too. So
mm,
it's a learning tool for language, for
mm,
technology. And the people watching, they're from all over the world. People's kids that are outside the country are watching because it's an interesting way for them to learn the language. That wasn't my goal. I didn't come out like I wanted to teach language. But like I said, I'm very fortunate about the good things that came up out of the things that I decided to do.
mm,
So there are people using it to learn the language. There are people who, for example, I get a lot of this feedback. For example, I did about 2 videos about careers and things like that. There are so many people who work in tech that cannot explain what they do to their parents. Some of their parents don't speak English, they are Yoruba. People just share some of my videos. Mommy, this is what I do. This is what this person is explaining. This is what I do. So it's already doing that job. The thing about putting work in the world is that you put it, sometimes it gathers attention, sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it just goes everywhere. It just goes everywhere. For example, one of the top platforms that people watch is LinkedIn. Initially, some people didn't think it belonged there. Because it didn't look like people wanted to listen to Yoruba on LinkedIn, but people did. It didn't seem as if non-Nigerians would be interested in the content. They are. It didn't seem, for example, I have people who watch who are Yoruba people that are not Nigerians, that are
mm,
from neighboring countries. I get to meet those people in
mm,
French speaking places. And then I said, oh, that's nice. That's pretty cool. So that's what language does. It transcends. I don't know the educational level of, all watchers. Sometimes when I check YouTube, I've not checked YouTube in a while because I'm moving. And then I have 40 videos. They may be short. I have 40 videos. People can watch that. I've covered quite a lot. But, the age group of people watching, people in my age group who, raising kids, younger people who probably did not have access to the language,
mm,
they are learning. And then they're learning two things
mm,
because people are curious about AI and data science, and they are curious about language too.
mm,
So it could be people curious about the language, people curious about AI, people curious about the two, people wondering exactly what I'm saying, you know, it's all manner of people, including this set of people that you described. Because for the mere fact that you don't speak English, it doesn't mean you don't want to know why Facebook or TikTok is recommending
Mm,
something to
mm,
you. And then sometimes people have this intuition. Like I said, curiosity transcends education and level,
mm,
it transcends language.
right.
Sometimes, for example, of course, my mom does not work in tech, but then she said, oh, she gets this thing. Sometimes she has a suggestion on YouTube and she's wondering why my dad did not get exactly the same suggestion, even though it's
Mm,
recommended system. And of course, my parents speak English. So there are all this series of people,
mm,
which is a life privilege to be able to, share things like that. And I don't take it for granted.
mm. From the way you're talking, I'm assuming that your parents are very proud of you. Can you give us a bit of a background? Are your parents educators? Do you come from a family of everyone being an educator, or all of your pharmacists? Just give a bit of a background in what your family dynamics or like your family structure looks like.
Oh, well, my parents are educated, and I have four siblings. Um, what else do I want to share publicly? I have four siblings.
What
Well,
yeah,
about
which yeah,
well, yeah, my mom is an educator.
okay.
Yeah, she really helped me to learn how to study. One of my superpowers is that I know how to study. And I don't, I usually tell people I don't take failures to heart. So I'm really those people that will keep applying,
Mm,
keep giving things a shot. So yeah, my dad is a good teacher too. He's a good teacher. I
mm,
remember when we were kids, I didn't grow up with don't touch things. It's just I grew up with read the manual and tell me what you found. I think
mm,
that has been helpful about trying to figure out things
mm,
like when we have a new tool, it actually show us how it works.
mm.
So yeah.
That's it. And your siblings, which fields do they work in? Are they also fun?
Oh well, my siblings work in engineering, my sibling work in architecture, my siblings work in healthcare, and my sister in law too.
Oh, I think the health space is for you guys. I think the way you or you guys like the way you are very interested in the health space, and I think it's good because health is power, right? Health is wealth, like they say. Roll up. Someone will be listening and will be wondering, do you catch a breather? Because now you're doing your PhD, technical instructor, you have family, because I'm sure the way you're talking, you have a very good relationship with your family, your siblings, and you have some friends. Do you unwind? Do you unplug? Do you do anything outside your daily activities that is, fun? Not that
Oh
not
well,
saying that what you do is not fun, but
fun.
relax a little bit.
Oh well, I do. I hang out with my friends. I listen to music
Mm.
and dance off key.
This is the
Yeah.
second time I'm having someone tell me they dance, but I cannot get a video of them dancing on the pod.
Oh, I dance off tune. It's not like I can't sing too. I sing anyway and
Mm,
dance off key. What else? I have pretty cool friends, so
mm,
so it's not like it's only work I'm always doing. I swear, it's not like that. Yeah.
mm,
So yeah, because I take life. I don't really tie the world to my chest that way. I kind of give it my best shot
mm,
and continue. Like I like life, and live it to the
mm,
fullest. So what else am I supposed to say? Well, sometimes I travel. I've not traveled in a bit because I'm moving, but I'm learning to travel. It was when I moved to the UK. It's a
mm,
bit complicated
mm,
traveling with the Nigerian passport. Now that I live maybe in the UK, get a bit of visas more.
mm,
So sometimes I travel,
mm,
you know. Not, I don't yet have a portfolio to say, oh, I've been to many places,
mm.
but I've been to quite a number of places in the last 2 years.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That's nice. That's nice.
but I have quite a number of really good friends and
Mm,
acquaintances.
mm,
So I don't have kids or a family,
mm,
my family yet. I
mm,
have family at
mm.
home. So,
All right. So you have some time. I would say the UK visa gives you the chance to visit some other countries that you have to just do a research. But the UK itself is a very nice place. We have Scotland to visit. You have the northern area, northern sphere. I don't know where you are based, but just try and explore. If you cannot, if you can, if the visa situation is a bit hectic, just try do a UK tour, explore and
Yeah,
see
you
a few
okay?
things, and then as time goes on, you can get the other visas that can get you to travel to other countries.
Oh, it's been nicer since I moved to the UK.
That is good. That is good. Now let's talk about opportunities that these projects or what you're doing has opened for you. If you can walk us through what has this opened for you? What has this done for your life as a whole? Have you been summoned by, top professionals? Have you had to get into boardrooms that you never imagined you were going to be in? Tell us what this like opportunities you've had as a result of this project.
Oh well, uh, maybe visibility, but I
Mm,
was a visible data scientist because I do quite a lot of work related to AI in Nigerian and stuff context.
mm,
So I wasn't like unknown,
mm,
at least in data science and
mm,
AI.
mm.
But it's pretty cool. So the opportunities, visibility, like of course I don't have the energy to engage with as many people. For example, I don't post on Facebook, I don't post on Instagram because I need just a bit of space that is
Mm,
not full of strangers. But it's pretty nice, the feedback. People are grateful, people are
mm,
watching, and some people find it quite life changing. Like some people have decided, oh, they will give this a shot, and it's pretty nice to be able to do work like
mm,
that.
mm. That's impressive. And what does your schedule look like? I know now you are a PhD student. You're doing technical instructing. How do you balance it? Like, walk us through like your normal day, like day to day.
Oh well, my normal day, like you said, I'm a student. I'm a focused student, so I have deliverables related to my work. First year is mostly literature review on my project.
Mm,
So I'm finding papers, updating my supervisors, and my life nowadays is quite reading a lot. Yeah, studying a lot. But then, yeah, and then evenings maybe I'm working on a new course. I'm usually working on a new course, but I always have time for my friends. So
mm,
catch up with my friends, catch up with family. I have a pretty normal life.
mm. That is
Yeah,
nice.
just one day at a time. I
Mm,
have a pretty normal life.
mm. That is good. That is good. Unfortunately, I have to let you go because I want you to go and do more research in the tech space and more importantly for cancer because we need to get rid of cancer as if we can. But I want you in your final words to talk to someone who is first in the tech space and trying to find their way around it. And then talk to someone who wants to do something similar like you are doing. Give them the best advice on how they can get started, what they can do, what they can get started with, and how you feel they stand a chance of succeeding. So we'll take the first one first.
Oh well, for people looking to get in tech space or working, it's an industry. It's mostly a job. It's not like salvation, but what you owe your employers, what you owe yourself is mastery.
Mm,
Be great at what you do.
mm,
Be great at what you do. I know it's cliche, but be great at what you do, and don't take rejections personally.
mm,
Like give it plenty shots, like give it like if you're looking for a role, apply 600 times, 1,000 times. It seems weird, but don't take it personally. And then in looking for roles, if you've recruited people before, sometimes you have just a role and
mm,
many people truly apply, so sometimes it's not personal. So don't take it like that, but what you hold yourself, your employer's mastery.
mm, mm,
If you want to teach tech in other languages, don't mystify it. Give it a shot and be open to people not engaging. You will
mm,
enjoy yourself better that way. Like and then you could do it and it will scale a lot. You could do it and it's not gonna scale. So you don't have to like spend a lot of money, because sometimes you think this is gonna happen. It may not happen that way. So, keep it as simple as possible
mm,
and then enjoy yourself while that's it.
mm,
Enjoy yourself. Consider it sharing what you know. Consider it preserving your language, and consider it just participating in the world. You've enjoyed things other people put out there. It
mm,
makes sense for you to participate and put something out there.
mm. Wuraola, You are amazing. When I saw you on LinkedIn and saw you on other social media platforms, I was like, I would really love to talk to this lady one day because I love people who are doing unconventional things and are doing it well and are excelling at it. And then I have you on the pod, and you are brilliant and a bright personality. And I just want to say thank you so much for making time. I know you're busy, but you did accept the invitation, and I'm really grateful. And I'm looking forward to. We both in the UK, so I'm looking forward to maybe one time if we can find the opportunity to catch up on maybe face to face over coffee, tea, dinner. That would be very great.
It's okay.
So thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it. As we navigate the complexities of innovation, it is crucial to ensure that knowledge is accessible to everyone regardless of their native tongue. Wuraola's inspiring journey illustrates the profound impact of teaching in one's mother tongue and how it not only educates but also preserves the language. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episode.